Hey there, so today and probably for the next several weeks or whatever, I'm refinishing my deck floor. And what this deck floor has on it currently is this composite. It was put on about 20 years ago and it's just peeling right off. As you can see, what happens is that water gets under the cracks and it peels right off. So I have to take all of this off and sand the deck down, sand the deck, and then restain it, but I'm not going to put that composite anymore on that. So I have a special tool coming today. It's called an angle grinder and a special attachment called a diamond brush. And it's got diamond flex on the blades, and it's supposed to make this job quite easy. Some of the stuff won't come up with my chisel, so the diamond brush is going to just take that off real quickly, and it will give a nice finish to the wood. And once that's done and the wood's all clean, we can restain it. And I'm going to stain it the same color as these railings, green. It's a stain from Home Depot, Behr, B-E-H-R, paint, deck stain. And so it's quite a big deck. I don't know, it's very, very big. So stay tuned. I'll show you how it's going. The tools I'm using are two types of chisels, cutting knives, and a chisel, and even tweezers when I can't get stuff easily between the cracks. The chisel does a nice job of removing the composite. Sometimes it's a little hard, and then if it's not working with the chisel, then I'll try it with the putty knife. But I have to get all of this out of between the cracks. This is what's the most time consuming. Tweezers sometimes do a pretty good job. You gotta be patient. This is a big job. You can't expect to get it done in a couple of days. It's gonna take a few weeks maybe in order to do this job properly. It takes patience. Okay. Alright, so that's how much I've gotten done. That took about 3 days right there. I'd say this is going to take another at least 3 days to get all this up. But maybe not. Maybe when my tool comes with a diamond brush, I'll show you what that's going to be like when that gets here. So what happened over the years is that this stuff it cracks eventually. You can see cracks right there, and moisture gets in there and then can't get out, and so it just destroys the connection. And so sometimes you get lucky and you can peel off a big strip of it. If I come up with one of those big strips, I'll film it for you. But the reason I have to take this off is I got to get this moisture out of, I got to get this coating off, or else the moisture is going to stay underneath and destroy the wood. And then I've got a huge expense on my hands. But so far the wood looks like it's fine. Just needs some sanding, that's all. Okay, this strip might come off kind of good. Watch. Oh, sometimes I can go all the way along. But the reason it comes off that easy is because it's been wet under there for a long time. It's not sticking well. It's actually better to do this when this stuff is wet. See how easy that comes off like that? That's the green stain that we had on here before we put this stuff on it. I can't remember what the name of this was. It lasted about 20 years, so it wasn't that bad. We got tired of staining our deck every 2 or 3 years, so we did it this way. We were happy with it, but now it's time to fix it. And we'll probably just continue to stain 2 to 3 years, every 2 to 3 years or so. So I'm finding out that doing this job of stripping the composite off the deck is easier when it's raining. Let me show you this. So it's been raining all night. This is how much I've gotten done in, I would say, 3 days of work. The stuff that you see left over is too hard to scrape off with the putty knife, so I'll be getting that off later with the angle grinder that I bought. But I just want to show you how much easier this is coming off when it's wet. And that's because the water has gotten underneath it, so it just lifts right up most cases. So I'm just wearing my raincoat and getting it done even in the rain. Okay. So what's been giving me the most trouble is in between the cracks. Through this process, I discovered that it's better to try to get this stuff out, along with the. Sometimes you just can't get the stuff out with the cracks when you start pulling it. So the time-consuming part is just chiseling out the pieces that broke off. The boards are so tight together in some places, like right here, that I'm never going to get all of that out. So I'm just going to scrape out as much as I possibly can and hope that the stain that I use will just, cover it up. But other places in the wood, the spaces are a little further apart and I can just push it right down under the ground, onto the ground beneath. But I'm trying to pull it out like that. See how it's coming out nice and easy? And if I can do that, then I don't have a lot of stuck pieces between the cracks. The technique I'm using when I have 2 boards together and there's composite on each board, I'm trying to pull out what's in the cracks without breaking it off. That was a nice pull. I got lots of that off. See? And I just pry off the other side the same way. And hopefully that'll come out. So even though I had a pretty nice pull, there's just a little bit still in there, so I use my chisel just to try to pop it out a little bit. I'll get down as far as I can. Anything beyond that is too bad. It's gonna stay. And like I said before, hopefully that stain will cover it. And being that this is such a huge deck, as you can see, the way I keep organized is I stay in one section and move through that section until I get to a certain point. For instance, I'm doing these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boards right now, because and maybe six boards in front of me, and I'm just sitting on a rubber mat to make it easier on my body. So I'm just staying on that trajectory until I get through to the end, and then I'll move over 6 more boards that way. So all I've got left from where this wheelbarrow is, from that and beyond toward the house, is 12 boards that's covered, and I'm this year going to leave them covered, which might look silly only having 12 boards covered, but they don't have too much damage, and I just don't see the point in taking it all off right now. I might decide next spring to do it, but this time around we're just doing beyond that point to the edge, and we're going to never again put composite on this wood because it fails. I don't care how good it is. It eventually cracks, water gets under it, gets trapped, can't get out. So the wood begins to rot. Fortunately, this is womanized wood and I don't have wood damage. But, you know, if it wasn't womanized, I'd have a lot of rotten wood here and that would cost thousands of dollars to replace. So I don't recommend putting this composite stuff on. I honestly don't remember what the name of this one was. It lasted more than 20 years. And I can't complain, but from the reviews I've heard about deck over, don't even touch that stuff. People are so upset with how that, just Google it, you'll see what I mean. So it's important to have a good plan on how to attack such a large job. You have to be organized and strategic how you logistically move forward and progress through the thing. That's why I do 6 boards at a time and then keep moving forward, and then 6 boards this way, and that way I'm making sure that I don't miss cracks, I don't get everything out. If I were to just willy-nilly go around and start scraping everywhere, I'd have to go all over again just to see if I got everything out of the cracks. The other thing I try to do while I'm working is not leave the pieces that I scrape off in a pile on the deck. I'm throwing them in this wheelbarrow so that the cleanup is much easier and it just feels better. So my equipment came that I ordered to continue my job. This is the Matebo, I guess it's a grinder. I'm not opening it yet, but this is the box that it came in. It's still in there. I'm going to take it out tomorrow. I also ordered the Diama brush. This is what that is. And right here, these are the blades that are embellished with diamond pieces, I think, which makes it so wonderful. I'm excited about this because this is going to strip off all the parts that didn't come off with chisels. My safety equipment, my PPE. Of course, I'm going to wear this because this piece of equipment is quite loud. So I'll be wearing earplugs. And I'm going to wear a mask. And I'm going to wear safety goggles. Because I've watched videos and this grinds up the paint and wood particles and very fine dust, and I don't want to be breathing that in or getting it in my eyes. Okay, so what I've been doing today all day long is cleaning up in between the cracks, and this is what I'm getting out of those cracks. So that took all day to go through all these cracks with the putty knife. And places that you see that are spotted and white, those are gouged out areas. That's wood putty in there that I'm putting in to fill in the gaps.